The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, and thank you so much for attending our webinar on the Rollins College Paralegal Certificate Program. My name is Angela Marshall, and I'm one of the program advisors for our Paralegal Certificate Program. I've been in higher education for the past 8 years, dealing with professional development programs, and I'm looking forward to speaking to many of you about our professional advancement and how our paralegal program can help you to achieve those goals. Before we get too much further, I do want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. There should be a hand icon next to your name in the webinar site. If you can click on that hand icon so that we know that the audio is coming through loud and clear, that would be great. Oh, I see a couple of hands going up right now. Fantastic. So it sounds like everyone can hear me okay. That's what we wanted to make sure of. So I'll continue on letting you know that our paralegal program is offered through the Rollins College Center for Lifelong Learning, located on our Winter Park campus. We're committed to serving the citizens of Florida and in this area with a quality education. Rollins College Paralegal Certificate Program is a 6-month non-credit program which consists of classroom instruction delivered by practicing attorneys and paralegal managers. Our instructors are licensed, experienced attorneys who will bring you real-world expertise into the classroom, ensuring that your learning experience is informative and engaging. We do cover 6 topics during our 6-month program, including Intro to Law, Torts and Personal Injury, Legal Research and Writing, Civil Litigation, Contract Law, and Family Law. We'll also get into those topics a little bit later in our webinar. So each of these classes focuses on the applicable skills that you would need to be a successful paralegal. So let's go ahead and get started. And at this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to my colleague, Jennifer John.
Well, thank you so much, Angela, for that rousing introduction. I'm very excited about the webinar presentation that we have this afternoon. We had over 35 registrants today. One of our main goals for this webinar is to give you the information that you need to make an informed decision about which program might be the best fit for you. What you see right now in front of you is a quick overview of what to expect during probably the next 30 minutes. We understand that everybody is spending part of their lunch hour with us, and we certainly hope to wrap the webinar up no later than about either 12:30 or no later than 12:45. I do want to mention there's an area in your GoToMeeting panel or GoToWebinar panel that has a question selection, and I noticed there's a question in there already from one of our attendees, Trudy. But as I'm going through my presentation, feel free to type any questions in there that you might have. Angela will try to answer as many of them as possible during my presentation, but again, we'll save the last couple of minutes for any remaining questions. So just as far as what to expect, I'm going to be answering 2 very basic questions. First of all, why earn your paralegal certificate? And is the Rollins Paralegal Program the best fit for you? I also have some slides about our program, the content of the program, and then also the format. I have, in addition, some information about the excellent attorneys who will be teaching in our program. And then at that point, I'm going to turn the presentation back over to Angela, and she's going to let you know about some payment options that we have, the best way for you to enroll, and then we'll wrap up with what you can expect after the webinar, along with answering any additional questions that you might have. So let's go ahead and get started. So why should you become a paralegal? Well, I think I have several compelling reasons that I'd like to share with my audience this afternoon. First of all, did you know that the paralegal career track is ranked as a top 10 career? And that's according to the Wall Street Journal. Also, did you know that paralegals ranked as one of the best jobs in America? And that's according to Money Magazine. This profession continues to experience exceptional growth. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, our field is projected to grow by more than 18% through 2020. You would be hard-pressed to find a field, probably other than healthcare, with extremely high growth potential over the next decade. As employers continue to try to reduce cost and increase the efficiency of legal services, they're expected to hire more paralegals and legal assistants. Now, those two terms are interchangeable, paralegal and legal assistant. I'd say following the cutbacks experienced during our recent recession, a lot of law firms are rebuilding their support staff by hiring paralegals to perform duties that were once done by first or second year associates. What they're finding out is that paralegals can be much less costly alternative to attorneys, and they're able to perform a wider and much higher level of duties, including those tasks that were once done by lawyers. This is going to cause an increase in demand for paralegals and also for legal assistants. Also, paralegals' work is less likely to be offshored than that of other legal workers. Paralegals routinely file and store important documents, and they work with lawyers to gather documents for important cases, transactions, hearings, and depositions. They frequently handle documents and take statements, which has to be done in person. I'd say law firms will continue to be the largest employer of paralegals, but a lot of corporations are increasing their in-house legal departments to also cut costs. For many companies, the high cost of lawyers and their support staff make it much more economical to have an in-house legal department rather than to retain outside counsel. This will lead to an increase in the demand of legal workers in a variety of settings, such as finance and insurance firms, consulting firms, and also healthcare providers. Well, I love this particular screenshot. It's a quote from Carl Rogers. "The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and change." Our paralegal program prepares our graduates to work in the ever-changing paralegal field. I'd say paralegals are found in all types of organizations, but the majority do work for law firms, corporate legal departments, or government agencies. Typically, they work full-time, but overtime is sometimes needed to meet important deadlines. And as far as the type of work, I would say in a law firm, that would give individuals that work for them the most opportunity for overtime. It's all about billable hours in law firms, and a lot of jobs that are out there have a baseline salary, but of course overtime is also incorporated. For paralegals that work for companies or government agencies, that is going to be a much more typical 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 position. Because of the nature of the work, but there are a lot of opportunities both in law firms as well as corporate legal departments, and then to a lesser degree with government agencies. I'd say in the smaller law firms, paralegal duties tend to vary a lot more, but in those larger organizations, paralegals work mostly on a particular phase of a case rather than handling a case from beginning to end. Now, I do want to address some questions that individuals may have. I know you've done a lot of research. There's so many different options in paralegal education out there, but I think that's one of the strengths of our profession. I'd say the type of program chosen by each student, it's going to depend on several factors, and that includes your prior educational experience. Students who already possess a college degree, they're not likely to attend a 2- or 4-year paralegal program. And then also prior life experience. Many paralegal certificate students have valuable real-world experience, but they simply lack the credentials to be competitive for job opportunities. And then motivation. Students who take certificate programs must be motivated since they're expected to gain knowledge and skills in a relatively short period of time. There are different options out there. Now, the American Bar Association does approve paralegal programs. It's not a certification by the Bar Association, but they do approve programs. Typically, you'll find that these programs are associated with a community level college, and the majority of students that enroll in those programs have no college background and very little work experience. But in our paralegal program, we focus on individuals that either have a 4-year undergraduate degree or a minimum of 4 years of work experience. This really helps our students to prepare for the fast-paced work that they'll be doing as a paralegal. And of course, it's a much more fast-paced program, but at the same time, it gives our students an opportunity to graduate in 6 months and begin working as a paralegal. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about why you should earn your paralegal certificate. You probably think it's fairly self-explanatory, but there's a lot of different reasons. Of course, the first one would be to become a paralegal. A lot of individuals are looking for a fast track into an exciting legal field, and paralegal is a very, very healthy area to begin working as far as changing careers. Interestingly, I'd say another, along with students that do want to become a paralegal, and that would be about 30% of our students, another approximately 30% of the students are wanting to go on to law school. As we all know, law school is very expensive and the time commitment is huge. It gives individuals whose ultimate goal is to become an attorney a way to find out if they're really passionate about law. So we have many individuals that go through the paralegal program and work as a paralegal before they take that ultimate leap into going on to law school and becoming an attorney. Also, we have about 30% of our students that aren't actually looking for a new paralegal job. They simply want to enhance their current career. Some of the examples would be individuals who work as accountants, business owners, social service providers, or contract and government staff, as well as in HR departments. And all of these individuals recognize the benefits of a better understanding of the legal field. And next, why should you earn your certificate from Rollins? Well, of course, our reputation is well known, not only in the state of Florida, but all over the country. As a top university, having the Rollins certificate program credentials on your resume will speak loudly about the high level of training that you've received. Next, all of our instructors are licensed practicing attorneys selected for both their legal expertise and also their teaching ability. Each of our instructors has gone through an intensive hiring process, including a live teaching demonstration to ensure that they are both subject matter experts, but also able to engage their students while conducting classes. I'm sure a lot of you can think back to your undergraduate days when you were really dreading going into a particular class, and typically the reason was because that faculty member was very dry in their delivery and did not do a good job at engaging our students. So during that test teach with the instructors, we ensure that they're able to keep the classroom engaged. They use some very good tools and techniques during classroom sessions to make sure that all of the students are not only understanding the material, but also are working together through simulations, assignments, those types of things. The other area that I do want to mention is you'll become a part of a 125-year tradition of excellence. Rollins is consistently ranked as the top college in Florida, the top regional university in the South, and that's according to the U.S. News and World Report, and we're among the finest schools in the nation. We were founded back in 1885 by the New England Congregationalists who sought to bring their style of liberal arts education to the Florida frontier, and Rollins is the oldest recognized college in the entire state of Florida. We border Lake Virginia, and we occupy a lush and gorgeous 70-acre campus in a quaint community near Orlando, which is characterized by its traditional Spanish Mediterranean architecture. The campus is about a 20-minute drive from downtown Orlando and around 30 minutes by car from the Orlando International Airport. Our classes are held on the main campus, and it's a very wonderful opportunity for students to get familiar with the campus and also be able to meet with all of their classmates that are going to be in each of the classes with them. So a beautiful campus if you do make the decision to enroll in our upcoming programs. Next, I wanted to share just a little more information about the instructors that are teaching for us. As I mentioned, all of those instructors are going to be members of the Florida Bar Association, and they're selected for a couple different things. Both, first of all, their technical knowledge and then their teaching ability. So we're selecting instructors that have the subject matter expertise in that area of law that they'll be teaching, but also we want to make sure that they have experience working with paralegals. This will make them much better able to talk to their students about what it takes to be a successful paralegal, what their expectations are, the paralegals that work for them, and actually be able to bring in real-world legal cases they're working on right into the classroom to make it much more relevant and pertinent for the students that are in the class. As I mentioned, we do have the selection process where after the application and interview happens, we do schedule those test teaches to make sure that our instructors are able to do a good job engaging the students. And then after each one of the modules, students will be completing an evaluation, and we find that those evaluations give us firsthand information from the students on how effective that the instructors have been. So for those of you that do decide to enroll, it will give you an opportunity to evaluate the instructors, which gives us that critical information to make improvements for future classes. Next, I do want to mention that we incorporate into our program career development, and I think this truly sets the Rollins College program apart from others. During this program, we're going to help you explore different career options. We help you polish your resume so that it stands out and communicates all that you bring to an organization. We also will work with you on interview techniques so that you make a great first impression. In addition, you'll be eligible for student membership in the local paralegal association. Now, the individual that will be teaching this course for us does have a substantial background, not only working as a paralegal, but also with what it takes to, first of all, write an effective resume and the steps that you need to go through to make sure that you're prepared for that all-important job interview. And while we don't have a career office incorporated in the program because it's offered through our continuing education department, we do give all of our students the tools that they're going to need to be able to make a successful job search for themselves. Okay, now I do want to speak to our entrance requirements. It's important that everybody understand that we have two basic requirements, and it would be good for you to know if you would qualify for the Rollins Paralegal program. First of all, you need either an undergraduate degree or a minimum of 4 years of professional office work experience. Now, your office work experience doesn't necessarily have to be in the legal field, but we do require some time, sort of full-time practice in the workforce. This way, it ensures that our students are prepared for the high level of educational training that they'll receive in our program. Now, the program tuition itself is a very affordable $4,995. This includes everything. There aren't any type of hidden fees such as an application, but it's all of your textbooks, all of the course materials that are in the program. We also give you access to an online testing center. It is a learning management system fairly similar to Blackboard for those of you that may have used Blackboard during your undergraduate days. But in that online center, students will be able to access all of their instructor syllabi for the courses, any type of handouts, or PowerPoint presentations. In addition, that's where our students will be taking their online final examinations. We also provide a student subscription to Westlaw. Now, Westlaw is one of the two online legal research database systems that are out there. We at one time were using LexisNexis, which is the other system, but we've recently incorporated Westlaw into our program simply because their customer service is far superior to LexisNexis. Now, I would say the majority of your larger law firms, they're going to have both LexisNexis and Westlaw for their legal research. I wouldn't be too terribly concerned if you end up working for a firm or company that only has LexisNexis. Those two legal research systems are fairly similar, and it wouldn't take you very long to ramp up to the LexisNexis system. But that student subscription for Westlaw is incorporated, and we also provide a beautiful graduation certificate from Rollins College. So everything is included in the tuition of only $4,995. Next, about earning your certificate. First of all, we do have 6 courses in the program. For each of those 6 courses, you must receive a minimum of a 70%, but then an overall cumulative average of 75% or higher. In addition, we do recommend that you attend all of your class sessions. Like anything in life, it's important that you put as much into it as possible because really that's what you get out of it. Now, that being said, we understand that individuals do have things that come up. We're all adults. We have busy professional and personal schedules, and in the event that you may have to miss a class, perhaps you have an elderly parent that may be ill, yourself or somebody else in your family, you may have an unexpected deadline at work and you're going to miss a class, what we do recommend that you do is reach out to one of the classmates and ask them to take notes for you, but more importantly also reach out to your instructor, let them know that you're going to be missing the class so that you can get the materials that you missed. But again, this is, of course, is an adult education program, and we do understand that on occasion you may have to miss a class. Next, I want to go briefly over the 6 topics that are incorporated into our program. We have Introduction to Law, and then Tort Law. Next would be our Civil Litigation class, Legal Research, Contract Law, Family Law, and then of course, we do have career preparation incorporated. What I'm showing you now is the upcoming program schedule for our 6-month program that runs from November 5th through May 8th of 2014. You'll notice this is going to be a Tuesday and Thursday evening program that meets from 6 to 9 p.m. And as you're going through the schedule, you'll also notice that you're only taking 2 courses at any given time. So during the first class, which is November 5th, we will be doing a bit of an orientation to make sure that students are able to access the online learning system, but you'll also start out with your first career preparation class. And then on November 7th will be the beginning of your Introduction to Law class. During the week of November 12th, you'll start your first tort and personal injury class, and then, of course, Introduction to Law. You'll notice during the week of November 26th, there's no class scheduled, of course, because of that Thanksgiving holiday. And then from December 17th through January 7th, you'll be off for the Christmas holiday. Students are going to return on January 14th, which is a Tuesday, of course, to finish up their tort and personal injury classes. And then there's also a break during January 28th. That's when our students are taking their online final examinations for tort law and personal injury. And then for the Introduction to Law class, that final exam will most likely be scheduled during the week between December 12th and then December 19th. So after those final exams are completed, students will begin during the week of February 4th their next 2 set of modules, which are civil litigation and then legal research and writing. And we have a break during the week of March 25th for the final examinations for those 2 modules, and then we close out the program from April 1st through May 8th with our family law and contract law modules. Now, the next example that I'm showing you is for our program that begins next year. This happens to be a Saturday format, and it runs from February 8th through July 6th. And those classes, rather than 2 evenings a week for 3 hours, they are going to meet on Saturdays from 9 to 12, and then and during the afternoon from 1 to 4. Very similar format where students are taking tort law and introduction to law during the first series of classes. Then they have civil litigation and legal research and writing, of course, during the second series of classes. And then our family law and contract law during the third series of classes. You'll notice that we do have the holidays scheduled as well as the breaks when students are completing their final examinations. Now, we often get questions from prospective students on which program might be the best fit for them, and usually we just let them know that it's really based on your schedule. Personally, I'd prefer going to school 2 evenings a week, but that's what I would enjoy. For others, depending on their weekend schedules, it is easier for them just to take that one day off and go to class all day on Saturday. But we do have both those options available, our evening format in November or our Saturday format that begins in February. Now, at this point, I'd like to go ahead and turn the webinar back over to my colleague Angela Marshall, and she's going to share a little bit of information about some of the options that we have for payment, how you can enroll, and then also what to expect from us after the webinar's over. So, Angela, did you want to go ahead and take it over?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer, for the rousing presentation. I think you've answered a lot of the questions that got typed in, but I definitely will follow up in just a minute to answer those looming questions that are still out there. I'm confident that each of you on today's webinar will find that our program consists of thorough and challenging curriculum. And if you're ready to jumpstart your paralegal career today, you can go ahead and download our application form on our website at www.rollins.edu/RLCLL, which is Rollins Center for Lifelong Learning, /certificate/paralegal. Keep in mind, I'm also going to send you a copy of today's webinar, along with the additional information and the registration form in an email. So no worries if you weren't able to write that down right away. It should also pop up a little bit later in our webinar, but I'm also going to send it to you in an email. You have 3 options in order to pay for the program. You download your application and complete it. You can fax your registration form and send in your payment to 407-646-1577. You can visit us in person at our address in Winter Park. And if you have still looming questions, feel free to call me at 407-915-3699. So you can either pay in full with a check, you can call with credit card information, or you can apply for a loan. And one of the other loans that we have available is the Sallie Mae Smart Loan option. It's an easy way and quick and an efficient way to find out if you need another option in order to cover the cost of the program. There is a link directly to Sallie Mae from our website. The interest rate is based on your credit score. So if you have low or no credit, we do recommend that you have a co-borrower in mind, and so will Sallie Mae as well. The application process is online, and you usually receive your answer within 24 hours of submitting your application. I believe the next slide is a copy of, shows you a little bit of the Sallie Mae screen. But additionally, from that Sallie Mae site, you would still need to complete a registration form, and as you can see on the screen, here is the website for registration, www.rollins.edu/RCLL/certificate/paralegal. There's a fax number in order to complete your registration form, especially if you've been approved for a Sallie Mae loan, or you can drop off your check or make a credit card payment in person at our Winter Park address listed there at 203 East Lyman Avenue, Winter Park, Florida, 32789. Again, here's the reminder about our program start dates. If you're looking for an evening option, we do have the convenient Tuesday-Thursday class that will begin on November 5th, 6 to 9 p.m. If you're looking for a Saturday option, that meeting on the weekends is going to work out better for your schedule. That February 6th class through July 6th does meet on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Both classes are open for registration now, so don't feel like you have to wait until a little bit later in order to register for that February class. It is first come, first served basis, whether you're doing a Sallie Mae loan, dropping off a credit card or check payment. It is based on who registers first. Here's my contact information. I'm at paralegal@rollins.edu, or you can call me at 407-915-3699. I know we've covered a lot of information, so be on the lookout again for that email that I'll be sending with a copy of the presentation along with the registration form and additional information on Sallie Mae. I did see one looming question in there that I wanted to make sure we answered related to the ABA approval program. Our program is not an ABA approved certified program. You're going to find, as Jennifer mentioned, most of those programs are 2 to 3 years and offered at community colleges and designed for those that do not have an undergraduate degree. We have a very advanced, rigorous curriculum designed for those that have already completed some education or equivalent work experience. Our goal in our program is to make sure that we can set you up for success and have those applicable skills in order to practice your paralegal career upon completing our program. The ABA does not formally accredit any paralegal program that's out there, but the organization approves those programs for certain standards. So if you see something that is ABA, it does not affect or change whether other programs are more rigorous in the curriculum. It's just a matter of, with Rollins College being a flagship university in Florida, that we are offering that education based on our Rollins name and know that we're going to help prepare our students to be successful. Keep in mind that one of the things, I did see a question related to advising patients related to their medical health counselor career. Keep in mind that even if you were to study in our program, paralegals aren't allowed to advise clients. They can do almost everything an attorney can do except for defend in court and advise clients and a couple of other things. So just keep that in mind as you are looking to apply your paralegal certificate in the future. I don't see any additional questions. I'm going to wrap up our webinar and respect that you guys can still enjoy part of your lunch hour. Thank you so much for participating. Jennifer, did you have any closing remarks?
I also want to echo your sentiments about the attendance. We're so excited to see over 35 people on the webinar with us today. That's fantastic. As Angela mentioned, the registration for both our November and February programs are open already, so it is a first-come, first-enrolled basis. We're going to try to keep our programs to about a maximum of 15 students so that we do have a really good instructor-to-student ratio in the programs. So for those of you that are ready to register, we encourage that you go ahead and do so. Again, I want to thank everybody for your time today. Hopefully we gave you the information that you needed to make an informed decision about which program is going to be a good fit for you, and we do hope that you decide to join the Rollins Paralegal program. So again, at your time, I would love to let you guys go ahead and get off the webinar and enjoy the rest of your lunch hour. So have a great time, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you in one of our upcoming courses.